In the spirit of the holidays, we want you to celebrate with your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo handicappers and do it at a discount by giving you a one-time 25% off everything you can fit into your cart between now and midnight on December 25th using coupon code GIFT25 when checking out. While this coupon can only be used once at Wager Talk and once at Sports Memo, the value is unlimited and there is no limit on what you can add to your cart when redeeming. Daily, all access, season, pick your team, and even mix and match handicappers as the combinations are endless. Remember, there is no limit to the number of handicappers at Wager Talk and Sports Memo you can lock in, but coupon code GIFT25 will expire at midnight on Christmas. On behalf of everyone at Wager Talk, Sports Memo, and Gold Sheet, we want to thank you for supporting us in 2022 by watching our videos, following us on social media, and trusting us with your wagers. However you celebrate, we wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Hey guys, welcome in, and a very happy Friday to you now. December the 23rd. We got a holiday weekend almost upon us. And then, of course, next week, the fun begins as our quest to crown a national champion will be just around the corner. Plenty of bowl action still to come. We're going to see if we can't break a few of these down, find a couple angles for you, and see if we can't make just a few more dollars before the end of 2022. And we're going to do it here on this Friday with three of college football's finest this year, as Jimmy Adams in the house in a very undisclosed location somewhere in the world. You got Bryan Leonard here ready to roll, and as is Tony. Finn, these guys ready to go. I know they're also locked and loaded for what is a monster weekend. NFL, college football, and of course, NBA action sprinkled in on Christmas. So much to go on here. And I know, Jimmy, you're excited here. Best bets locked and loaded, not just for tonight, but throughout the weekend. What's going on at wagertalk.com?
Yeah, we're fresh off 5% winner last night. Thank you, Zach Wilson. I always love fading him. That's pretty easy money. And we're on a 5-0 NFL run. We're going to hit another big ticket on Saturday, so locked and loaded there. We got college football and college hoops up as well for you to take advantage of for sure.
Yeah, no, it's been a great college bowl season for Jimmy and Bryan Leonard. NHL, full slate here, NBA, a couple of college basketball games, a couple of bowl games, plenty of NFL. What is on the card for you here at wagertalk.com?
Yeah, we've had a lot of success in NHL, college basketball, and the NBA as of late, so that's what we're sticking with. Haven't done my NBA yet, still working on that, but I've got 4 plays up in hockey tonight, 1 afternoon play, college basketball, and as you mentioned, the NFL slate tomorrow, and this is a great week for teasers. I don't know if anybody plays teasers out there, but last night Jacksonville was a perfect teaser. Because of the weather across the country, we've got a lot of low-scoring games. If you're crossing key numbers, that's the best way to do it in teasing. And so we've got a lot of good teasing opportunities tomorrow in the NFL.
A ton of teasing opportunities, in fact. Hope you guys got Jacksonville as one of those legs, because should be a very profitable weekend here. And Tony Finn, I know you're ready to roll here. Teaser-wise, side-wise, total-wise, big weekend coming up. You got anything locked and loaded already at Wager Talk for us? Oh, okay. This is where I do the mime thing, right? Oh, yeah, I got plenty of it. Yeah, look at this. This is my ass, and this is what it looks like after I eat. And it no, he's got a pen, too. Yeah, so
he thinks he's around Michaels now.
We'll get the audio up here in just a minute. You keep going with the pen, though. I call you Ralph Jr. You'll be good to go. We'll get Tony to reconnect and then get him going. In the meantime, we're going to start with the Alamo Bowl. Is this not? I believe so. Yes. This is going to be in San Antonio. And what would San Antonio be without, University of Texas playing in it? -4 right now. And that has come down for a couple of reasons. Taking on Washington. 67.5 is the total in this one. 9 o'clock on December 29th. And I guess really, Jimmy, there's 2 really big things that we learned heading into this week in this game. Number one, I believe Robinson, their leading rusher, which feels like he's been there forever, He's going to the NFL draft, so he's out, right? And then I believe Penix agreed to come back. So if he's coming back, and this guy was one of the most prolific passers we had this year, not to mention Kalen DeBoer in Washington, handled business down the stretch, finishing, I think, altogether 10-2 on the season. This line dropped from 7-4. So maybe, I don't know, is Robinson worth that much to you in this game here as a running back? I mean, Texas usually has a few of those. So what do you think of this matchup coming up?
Yeah, so that was my first point. Robinson is worth a lot. It's not just him being out, but yeah, Texas' main weapon was Bijan Robinson. He's not playing in this game, like you said, off to the NFL. And I can't really overstate how important he was to this offense. It's going to be extremely difficult for Texas to cover more than a field goal without him. Longhorns also likely without some key players on the defensive side of the ball. We all know how good Quinn Ewers is, but Michael Penix Jr. has had a fantastic season as well. He's lighting up this Washington offense. Big coaching mismatch as well. Steve Sarkisian, he's probably better off as an offensive coordinator if we're just being honest. And then we got Kalen DeBoer, who's just had a tremendous start in Seattle. So Huskies offense, great, like I mentioned, putting up 40.8 points per game, 521.7 total yards. They've just been outstanding. They're very good on third down. They don't turn the ball over often. Probably looking at a high-scoring affair, but with Washington getting more than a field goal, I think they can cover this game, and they can probably win it outright, Joe.
I mean, Brian Kalen DeBoer, we talked about him over the last couple of years. Certainly Fresno State, definitely a coaching mismatch here. I mean, what he's done with this Washington program has been fantastic, although sometimes their expectations get a little out of control over there, the Huskies. But there is probably no bigger blown out of proportion expectations than University of Texas, the Longhorns, and Sarkisian. I think Jimmy's spot on. Talk about a coaching mismatch here. I don't know. It feels like the dog is an easy pick here. Are you leaning that way as well?
Yeah, that's the only way I could look here. Texas came into the season with much higher expectations. I'm not so sure they wanted to be here. They're playing in their own state. They don't get much of a vacation here. Washington, anytime you're out of the north at this point of the season, you're excited to go anywhere as long as it's not snowing. And as far as I know, Texas is one of the few states that's probably not going to get any snow. But it's a situation for myself. When you take a look at the transfer portal, there's a few of them out there that rank the people coming in and coming out. Washington's got 7 out, 7 in, but the 7 they bring in are better than the 7 they had out. Texas, the running back, he was that entire team this year. They went through a few quarterbacks, but he was great. And I'm not usually one who hypes up running backs, but I think he's going to be a successful NFL player. But when you take a look at the transfers coming into Texas, they have 2. They have 13 going out. So they got 13 guys, 11 of them 3-star players and higher, that will not be in this game. That makes a difference. I only made this line 3 if it was full regular season football. And now we're getting a point more with all the transfers and without the best player for Texas. Yeah, I'm in agreement. I like Washington here.
Washington, it's interesting, too. I guess we're going to be talking a lot about Texas, I guess, when they get what's his name there? Oh yeah, I think it ends in Manning, doesn't it? I don't know how the hell they pulled that off, but there is a Manning on the way, and if you think the hype is big now, yeah, wait until he gets on campus. My goodness, it is going to be as ugly as it can be, and it looks like Tony, Finn, back in the house here. Audio all fixed, all that good stuff there, Finn. Just in time for you to tell us, are you believing that Texas in San Antonio can handle business against Michael Penix and company? Although I don't think so, but what do you think? Are you going for the dog or for the favorite UT here?
Check 1, 2. Check.
Good. Check in the mail.
I got so excited. I had to break my grease pen because someone used a player's name and easy money in the same sentence, and I had to record that very fast. Because every time I say that in the same sentence, Joe, we know what happens. Listen, is Texas worthy of the handicap? Is Texas worthy of putting your hard money on? Is Texas? Is Sir listen? No, they're not. They're just not. They could be full strength here, guys. And I don't have a lot of. This team has been preparing for the SEC now for 6 months. As is Oklahoma, and some even those who left and departed OU did so because they were going to the SEC. Who the hell wants to go to the SEC and compete with, that old school white cracker brethren that unless you're greasing somebody strong enough, it's gonna be tough to compete. No, don't. I'll be opposite. Let's put it this way. It's Texas, Oklahoma, those kind of schools are leaving conferences, et cetera, et cetera. I'm fading. I'm certainly not going to put hard-earned money on them. I would be fading them long before I would be backing them.
It's going to be interesting to see if the Manning makes a difference on those future numbers next year. I just can't wait to see it. And Sarkisian got one more year. He don't win a national championship with a dude named Manning on a team. He'll be back. Don't worry, in the SEC. Working the offense for Nick Saban again. All right, we'll move on. Game number 2 here. We're going to break down another bowl game. This one's going to be, everyone's favorite Mayo Bowl. And don't act like you're not excited for this, as Maryland is taking on NC State. Who is the quarterback for NC State? Well, it ain't Devin Leary because he transferred, so I have no idea who the hell it is. I think it's a wide receiver at this point. In Maryland, to his little brother, oh boy, just every time you plan on betting on them, they just they blow it. So Jimmy, we got a pick 'em, which tells you a lot here in a bowl game. 47 as a total. Are you buying here in the Mayo Bowl either NC State or Maryland in this matchup?
Oh, this one's a tough handicap, Joe. It's close to a coin flip here. I really don't know what we're going to get out of NC State's offense. Devin Leary's obviously been out for quite some time, but Maryland didn't exactly finish the season strong, losing 3 of 4. They did have that 37-0 shutout win over Rutgers to end the year, but you kind of nailed it off the top. They have their quarterback. So Tulia Tagovailoa, off a great season, should have another good game despite losing a lot of his top receivers. He's going to have a good game because Maryland's not going to be able to run the ball on NC State. I'll tell you that right now. The Wolfpack, they have shown if they've shown vulnerability, it's been in the passing defense. So that's where Maryland shines. But I can't trust this Wolfpack offense. So if I have to make a play on the game, it's going to be on Maryland. Maryland's 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 non-conference games, if you want to factor that in this bowl situation. So lean Maryland, but pass for me.
Yeah, it's of all the ACC teams here, Bryan Leonard, North Carolina State was one of the more hyped coming into the season. They returned 13, 14 guys on both sides of the ball. There was plenty of expectations for NC State, and it started off slow, and they couldn't right the ship, and then Leary gets hurt, and then that's it. So a disappointing season. I like the coach, but do you trust him to be able to get it done against his Maryland squad?
Yeah, you stole my opening there. Coming into the season, that was the hot team. They thought NC State was going to knock Clemson out, and all of a sudden this is a new regime coming out of the ACC, and we get the same old Wolfpack as we've normally had, and quarterback won't be back. I pay a lot of attention to the bowl games based on what the expectations were in the preseason. These kids come in, they're all like, Maryland, nobody was expecting much out of Maryland. Maryland had a decent season. They were a pretty good team. They come into this game, and North Carolina State, playing in Charlotte should be somewhat of an advantage for them. I don't think so. I'm not hip on Maryland. It's not a team I'm looking to die to bet on, but I want no part of NC State here. In a pick 'em situation, the only way I could look would be Maryland.
It really is. It feels like I got to go with the team that a more established quarterback, Tony Finn. That is Maryland. Although they do figure out ways just to burn tickets and backers' money somehow. But you just got to kind of feel that if Maryland gets ahead here, how is NC State going to come back on this one?
Well, the first thing you have to do in this game, this matchup, is figure out whether the rumors are true and that Loxley is a vegan. So if that's the case, then he's going to lose on purpose.
Good point.
You know, no, he doesn't want Mayo dumped on after the game,
solid.
right?
Half the guys, I think, are sitting out for that. That's a good point. And if I'm
54.
not mistaken, both of these coaches, I think Mr. Koken told us yesterday, the agreement has been made that whichever team wins, they agree to be, instead of Gatorade, Mayo be dumped on them. I might just throw the damn game right there and be like, you win. Like, look, Bryan Leonard's like, oh, hell no. I don't know what's your feeling about a Mayo dump there, Tony Finn?
Yeah, I know. That's the vegan part of this. You know, I don't know any vegan. I don't know any vegan wants to even use animal oil for makeup. But Maryland, Maryland's numbers, guys, are pretty. I was going through the history of bowls, and I came up with some Loxley numbers. Not that Dave D is anything fantastic, but Loxley against I read this, so take it with a grain of salt. But versus an opponent with a better record, 3-39, straight up, 15-27 against the spread, 1-6-1 in as a bowl team not favored by 3 or 3.5 or more. Essentially, if the odds makers make this Loxley team a favorite, then over 3 points, they should be good to go. You guys have talked really a lot about this. It's really difficult to back either one of these teams. Really have a lot of confidence going into the game. So, I'm going to kick this to the curb, although I probably will watch it just because I got to see this. I got to see this tub full of Mayo dumped on somebody. It's got to be interesting.
Nothing like looking forward to a pick'em game that involves Mayo at the end. I want to throw up right now. All right, here we go. Let's move on out of the Mayo and let's add a little Sun. How about the Sun Bowl here as Pittsburgh heading to take on UCLA, Chip Kelly and the boys here. This is going to be December 30th. I'm seeing for UCLA, 54 as a total, and Pat Narduzzi taking the boys. I believe we were just talking about this before the show. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is probably playing, but yet we haven't really heard one way or the other. Nothing definitive, which is always a little bit worrisome at this particular point. But again, it's still a week away. But Narduzzi, up and down, although he did beat Miami, Jimmy, and made me some money there this year when everyone thought Miami, every game down the stretch, they were somehow going to turn it around with that fraud. But that's a different story. Narduzzi, Slovis, who's the quarterback? They can run. UCLA's defense has been the weakest part of them. But is there any way you can even bet on UCLA without knowing whether Dorian's playing?
No, so opt-outs are kind of the theme of this show, and we got all kinds of questions here. So Keaton Slovis is out. He hits the transfer portal yet again. Yep. That leaves Pitt with some serious inexperience at the quarterback position. Their two backups have almost no playing time under their belt. They're also without their top running back. So I was kind of ready to fire away on UCLA until word started to leak that Dorian Thompson-Robinson's probably not going to play in this game as he gets ready for the NFL draft. Zach Charbonnet likely out as well, as he does the same thing. So not official, but those are the rumors that I'm hearing. And the line has come crashing down, which tells me that Sharps are thinking along the same lines. And it just goes to show you got to wait till the last minute when you're betting these bowl games with all these players opting out and declaring for the draft, transferring. We really have to throw out, I think, all the offensive stats from both of these teams, given Slovis is gone and I don't think Robinson's playing. So the only way I can look to this game is the under. That's the only way I can play it, Joe.
Yeah, we're hearing some things that Charbonneau and Robinson should be going, but the defense of Pitt is missing a few guys. Patty, I believe, Nick Patty is the backup for Pittsburgh. At least he's a senior. At least he's got some experience here. But this is another one of those situations, Bryan Leonard, where if UCLA and Chip Kelly are up 14-0, how in the hell is Pittsburgh coming back in this one? And that's really the big problem here, isn't it?
Yeah, a real tough game to handicap. If you're UCLA, they've got a lot of people who are changing their teams, and they want to go play at UCLA. They want to be quarterback at UCLA.
Yeah.
UCLA is about to go to the Big Ten. UCLA's bowl game is in El Paso, Texas.
Yeah.
Do they want to be in El Paso, Texas? Now, I know Pittsburgh does, only because it's not Pittsburgh. If Marco was on the show, Marco would have got a kick out of that.
Yes.
No, but
I heard the drums. I heard the drums.
Like I do from Cleveland. I know a little bit about Pittsburgh. They're excited. They get to go down to Texas, get to play a little bit, see what they've got for next season. I'm not really sure how much UCLA wants to be here. Based on that, that's the only way I would look at this. But and Jimmy made a good point about, we don't know who's going to play. You don't know to the last minute. I would take the points right now with Pittsburgh, and later on decide if you want to keep it or play the other way back. But based on who's going to play, but I don't think you're going to get a worse line if you take Pittsburgh now plus the 4. That's probably best line we'll see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You also have a story that came out that Oregon, Bo Nix agreed he's coming back, and immediately, apparently, the number 3 recruit in the country decommitted from Oregon, and he's heading to UCLA as a quarterback to play with Chip Kelly. The kid's name is Dante Moore. So, hey, that position is going to be available for UCLA. That's an open competition next year. If Dorian doesn't go there, Tony Finn, then there's going to be somebody in that under center is going to want that job next year. It'll be interesting to see what we get from UCLA in this matchup.
Yeah, one of the things that when you asked before the show, are you locked loaded? There's this part of the bowl, at least this part of the bowl schedule had a lot of question marks as far as personnel opting in, opting out, coaches, motivation, et cetera, et cetera. Some of the other ones didn't. And I do have some bowl games still locked up. The later ones where you have players, coaches, student bodies that are competing for a spot, in that final game, that championship game, as you mentioned. And this game is not one of them. I've always had an issue with Chip Kelly and trusting him and what he says in comparison, or at least in relationship to what he does. And if it's for me, this game was a really simple handicap, and that was Dorian in, I'm in. No, Dorian. No way.
What happens to this line if Dorian Smith says, "Yeah, me and Charbonneau, we're in, Jimmy"? Are we looking at what? Back to a touchdown? I mean, what happens if Dorian says, "Yep, I'm in, I'm good, we're coming back, we're going to win one last game here"?
Oh, yeah, money comes pouring in on UCLA, and you'll see the total will shoot up.
Oh,
because the quarterback position, the cupboard is bare in Pitt, man. So, yeah.
Get ready here, guys, because get ready to act here. You can hedge it going early, but once that one way or the other comes in, there's going to be some movement in that game. All right, one other game we'll take a look at here, the Gator Bowl, which is a interesting matchup here as South Carolina taking on Notre Dame. Notre Dame, a slight favorite here, 251.5, I believe, is what we're looking at. Did anybody want to play South Carolina at the end of this season? I'm not sure because quietly, they became one of the better teams in the country that nobody wanted to play. Just ask Clemson, just ask Tennessee. What are you thinking here, Jimmy? It's an interesting matchup between these two teams. Who are you leaning towards?
All right, so here we go again. Drew Pine out for Notre Dame. He's transferring. Michael Mayer's gone, the tight end and top target. He's headed to the NFL draft as well. Look, nobody in the country finished the season better than South Carolina, blowing out Tennessee 63-38, and then going to take down Clemson. Now, they are without their best running backs and tight ends, so you'll want to take that into consideration. But look, there's been a lot of talk about Spencer Rattler and his inconsistency. But he's shown the ability to play well, and I was impressed with him those last few weeks, and I'm willing to take a shot with him now. The Gamecocks are excited for this game. I think the motivation is definitely going to be there for them. They think they're turning their program around. Defense isn't bad, and I just don't want any part of Notre Dame as a favorite. Problem is we really missed the best of the number. It's gone through 3 now. We're looking at the 2s. But South Carolina 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 as an underdog. They're also 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 bowl games. So give me the Gamecocks in this one, Joe.
South Carolina, I mean, I think he's got it there, Brian, because South Carolina wants to be here. I don't know that Drew Pine is a big loss. He kind of got the job by default anyway there. I mean, they weren't really excited for him for Notre Dame. But Notre Dame is not exactly going to be thrilled to be here. South Carolina is, and give it to Spencer Rattler and that coaching staff. That kid single-handedly did a lot to make sure that team had 8 wins and ready to go here to a bowl game. I still think they're very dangerous as a dog. What do you think?
Yeah, I firmly agree with the quarterback situation. They haven't had a quarterback all year, to be honest with you. So that's been a weakness. So I'm not too worried about that. When you take a look at the transfer portal, they've got 2 coming in, 6 leaving, including a 4-star player and 5 3-star players. So the Irish need to pick it up if they're going to be competitive again next year. Disappointing season for them. I agree. I don't think they want this game. South Carolina was a team. Their season was virtually over halfway through the season. Then they got hot at the end, and now they think they've got a future. And when you get to play the Irish in a bowl game, and that's big. I mean, they play in the SEC. They play against a lot of great teams, but the Irish have that tradition. I don't think the Irish players are excited to play South Carolina. The line is dropped, and it makes sense. If this was a regular season game, I would have made the line in game 5. But because of everything that's happened and the site of this bowl game, I agree. South Carolina is the only way I would look here. Although if you take a look at South Carolina, they've got 3 guys coming in, 9 guys going away, including 2 4-star players. So they may not be quite as good next year, but in their minds, they think they will be. So and they'll be off to a better start when the season starts than what they came in this year. But I prefer the South Carolina side only on the emotional side. That's the only way I would look at this one.
How about it, Tony Finn? Notre Dame's going to want to run the ball. South Carolina, not exactly great against the run. So what gives in this game? You leaning one way or the other?
I am. This is actually my best bet for the show. So in this game, we can start it with me right now, or we can go to the best bet section. Your choice. I have a. You want to roll it? Let's roll it.
Roll it. Go. Give it to us. Best bet. You're going to go who?
I'll let Robert stack up like 4 or 5 minutes, so without the beep, without the sound.
Oh, okay.
Right. Notre Dame minus the points here. I thought both these guys laid it out perfectly. First off, Pine isn't a loss. He's not a loss in this game, other than a little experience with this offense. Secondly, but I hear nothing but these great things and the great talk about South Carolina and how they closed the season. Does everyone remember what they did the 3 games before they kind of got warm there at the end of the season, losing to Missouri, losing to teams that everyone had beaten already? Great stuff. Love to see South Carolina doing well, but Notre Dame has every reason in the world to go in here, perform well, and get the win. They're favored for a reason. They're the better team. They're going to win. Notre Dame needs that recruiting, that edge that the Bulls give you in the recruiting. Notre Dame fighting Irish minus a small number over South Carolina. Best bet for the show.
Ooh, Notre Dame, they're going to run all over them South Carolina Gamecocks. Huh? All right, there you go. It's best bet there. Jimmy, up to you here, man. I won't force you to pick from a game in which we have no idea who is playing. So any bowl game for that matter, if it's a best bet here, go ahead and tell us what you're leaning towards.
Yeah, I'm going back to that Washington, Texas game, and this is a client play for me. I like this game a lot. Bijan Robinson's out. He means a lot to this offense. Quinn Ewers is going to have to have a great game. He probably will. But the thing is, this Washington Huskies team is fantastic. Michael Penix Jr. has had a tremendous season. We mentioned the coaching mismatch with Sarkisian and DeBoer. And this Huskies offense, 40.8 points per game, 521.7 yards. They're not going to be stopped. They're good on third down. They don't turn the ball over. We're getting them at more than a field goal. Sprinkle some on the money line. Give me Washington for today's best bet, Joe.
Ooh, going Washington it is. Sorry, Sarkisian. Seen better days there, but don't worry. A Manning is on the way. Reinforcements are coming. Talk to us here, Bryan Leonard. We won't be opposed with how profitable you've been in the NHL. If you want to drop an NHL pick as well, it's completely up to you, man. But tell us what you got here for a best bet tonight.
Yeah, we'll go back to the same one that Jimmy talked about. Not enamored with any of these plays, but yeah, you got to take a look at Washington here. Texas came into the season with great expectations. They have not played well. One of the most overrated teams in the country. And now they don't even get to leave their own state for a bowl game. Washington is excited to be here. This is a team on the rise. They fell off the earth the year before. A big bounce back out of Washington. You know, all season long they've been excited to play. And one question for Tony Finn: if a pine falls in the forest, does anybody even care?
It's so
Only
true.
if that forest's in Texas.
Yeah.
Hotel
okay.
Texas.
All right. Nobody heard that pine. Nobody heard it fall. Doesn't exist. All right, guys, one more time. Here we got it. Tony Finn going Dame. Give him Notre Dame to run it up on South Carolina, while Bryan Leonard and Jimmy Adams are in agreement here. Washington is ready to go here, especially in this matchup, the Alamo Bowl. Get ready for it. Texas might be in for a long day with Steve Sarkisian. But if you head over to wagertalk.com, you heard the guys talk about it. Opportunities presenting themselves here. It's a huge weekend. NBA, NFL, bowl games. Bryan Leonard and his NHL continue to cash tickets. Great bowl season for Jimmy. And Tony Finn, I know he's got the association ready to rock and roll here over the next couple of days. Plenty of best bets, plenty of opportunities. And guys, take advantage of that one promo right now. GIFT25. That's the code. GIFT25. That's 25% off any package for these guys right now at wagertalk.com. Visit their page, put it in the cart, and then go ahead and say, hey, give me GIFT25 and take that 25% off. Gift yourself a little holiday gift here, huh? How do you like that? 25% off any of these 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access packages with these guys. Hop on board. 3 of the most profitable at wagertalk.com. All right, that'll do it here for this week. Obviously, next week, more bowl games. And, of course, we're going to start breaking down the national championship and the playoff chase. Still plenty of good bowl games still to come. A lot with some serious edges and serious motivation discrepancies. We'll break them down all next week for you. But until then, on behalf of Jimmy and Bryan Leonard, as well as Tony Finn, guys, want to wish you and yours a very happy and safe holiday. We'll be back on Monday, now that Christmas is landing on a Sunday, which is all sorts of weird, which means we'll be back on Monday doing it all over again. Until then, happy holidays, guys. Thanks for hanging with us. Best of luck with all your plays. We'll talk to you next week.
In the spirit of the holidays, we want you to celebrate with your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo handicappers and do it at a discount by giving you a one-time 25% off everything you can fit into your cart between now and midnight on December 25th using coupon code GIFT25 when checking out. While this coupon can only be used once at Wager Talk and once at Sports Memo, the value is unlimited and there is no limit on what you can add to your cart when redeeming. Daily, all access, season, pick your team, and even mix and match handicappers as the combinations are endless. Remember, there is no limit to the number of handicappers at Wager Talk and Sports Memo you can lock in, but coupon code GIFT25 will expire at midnight on Christmas. On behalf of everyone at Wager Talk, Sports Memo, and Gold Sheet, we want to thank you for supporting us in 2022 by watching our videos, following us on social media, and trusting us with your wagers. However you celebrate, we wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.